Hey, welcome back everyone. We got Aelquilibra this time. I was finally able to get my hands on the promo card, which took longer than I wanted, but I mean, what can you do, right? Uh, this deck got a really cool, well, one, it got a really cool promo, but it also got a really cool double rare in set 10 that I really like. So this is just an update, or I guess this will be my first time showing this deck off, but this is a really cool deck. It's one of the, in my opinion, it's one of the one of the decks you don't want to let go first, like because the numbers it pushes out when your opponent's at grade 2 is like it's a lot. Like, and if they set up on Persona Ride turn 4, like you're just eating away your entire hand against it. So, and also spoiler warning, I am horrible at pronouncing the names of these cards, so like don't roast me too much for that. This is Gewirl Dragon. This is the starter. We got Reckon to Werf Dragon. Um, so he is kind of similar to uh, the Varga ride line, where it like can call itself out of soul when you ride over it, specifically by Gatling Corone Dragon, and you soul charge one. But its other ability is if it gets overcharged, which is pretty much if it gets picked by Alquilibra specifically and his ability, he gets an extra 10. So when this gets picked by Alquilibra, it gets 5 from Alquilibra and then 10 from its own skill. So it's an 23 by itself, which is kind of crazy. And then we got Gatling Corone Dragon, and his ability is when Alquilibra rides over it, you're going to look at top 3, add a card, and put the rest at the bottom. And if the card you added has the overcharge ability, you get to soul charge one. So this helps you find like something pretty much like the big thing that I always look for are these two, which is Shalhoub and Badia. If you don't find these two, yeah, other good targets are like Persona Ride, the Order. Like, there's a lot of cool things you can grab on it. The Soul Charge, like if you miss the Soul Charge, it isn't like that backbreaking for the deck. Like you'll still be perfectly fine on your Soul count. And lastly, we have Alquilibra himself. This is the other Dragon Empire Divine Skill guy, uh, and his ability is that you can Soul Blast 2 and pick up to 3 rear guards, give them +5, and if you pick 2 or more with the Overcharge ability, you draw a card and he gets +10. So, again, it's a lot of power that you're spreading about on your board, which can be scary for a lot of people. And then it has a Divine Skill, a once per game Counterblast 1. If your opponent's at grade 3, you get to give 2 of your rear guards +5, which, again, choosing your units by your Vanguard's ability, very important for the deck. But also, if your opponent's at 4 or less damage, you get to deal them a damage, and whatever trigger they hit, if they hit one, you minus it by 10. So it sucks if your opponent flips the over trigger 100%, but it does give you like it lets you make your whole board overcharged, which is really cool and also really scary depending on the turn, especially if you persona ride. So yeah, that's the ride line. Nothing. It's pretty straightforward ride line. So the grade 3, we don't play a lot of grade 3s. We play 3 Persona Ride, and then we play our Regalis piece, which is Twin Cast. This is similar to most decks I've talked about recently, where it's like I feel like you're either playing Twin Cast or you're playing the Fire Regalis, but Twin Cast is a pretty good one to have. And the last grade 3 is his order card, which is to equilibrize oh my god, equilibrize the scales of the world. I just call it scales. It's way it's way easier. But basically, if you're on Alquilibra, you counterblast one, and you get to grab uh, 2 cards from your drop zone with different names, and call them. So you can call you can feel easier about discarding things like your Shalhoub or your Badia. Well, I'd like to keep Badia, but sometimes you do have to discard it. Moving on to the grade twos, this is kind of a heavy portion. We have Shalhoub. Shalhoub is your restander, so if you have three or more units with the overcharge ability, he gets +5, so he swings for 15. And then if he's overcharged and your Vanguard attacks an opponent's grade 3 Vanguard, you get to Energy Blast 3, restand him, and get +10. Really cool ability. Adds for more pressure, especially because you're swinging for really big numbers. We got 4 copies of Badia. Badia, if she's overcharged, gets +10, which is really nice again. So if you're overcharging her with Aelquilibra, she swings for 25 by herself, which is really cool. But on play, you get to look at top 7. You either get to add an overcharge unit or the order card to your hand, and then you put a card from hand to soul. It's a really nice ability. It helps you find specifically what you're looking for. And then we have, oh boy, Linden Leidenschaft Dragon. Uh, again, these cards are a nightmare for me to pronounce, but basically, if you overcharge him, he gets +10, which is great. Uh, Again, hitting big numbers is always nice. But his other ability is at the end of the battle that he attacks. He doesn't need to be overcharged for this. You can retire him and give your Vanguard the ability. When it attacks, you can give a unit +5. So on your non-divide turns, this can you can swing with this first, and then one of your units that hasn't been overcharged when your Vanguard swings is going to get the power, which is really cool. And the last grade 2 that I play is 1 copy of Vasogemus. I could not pronounce that any worse if I tried. Basically, he gets 5k power, 5k shield if you're on Aelquilibra. Really cool. His other ability is when he attacks, he's going to get +5, and you can make it so your opponent can't intercept if he's overcharged. So he's a flex spot. I don't really know what else I'd want in that spot, but I kind of want just to have like a little more shield because this deck doesn't have the most like shield value, and it doesn't generate a lot of hand advantage. Um, Speaking of, we're gonna go on to the grade ones. If I could just pick them all up there. So this is the new promo. This is uh, fewer freight dragon. I don't. I'm trying. I really am. He's only got one ability. It's if he's overcharged, uh, you get to, and your Vanguard is attacking a grade 3 Vanguard. You get to put to soul, draw a card, and restand one of your rear guards. It's really nice. You basically get you're not as reliant on hitting Shalhoub anymore, which is really nice. But you can have like one Shalhoub, one of this, and you'll be having 5 attacks, which is really nice. We got 4 copies of Dragritter Edel. Edel. Similar to the grade 1 from the ride deck, if he's overcharged, he gets 10. But his other abilities, when he's placed, you can counterblast to draw and soul charge, which during the early game it's really nice. It just keeps your hand kind of full, but it's not like the deck doesn't really use its counterblast as much. Besides, it's pretty much like your once per game, the order, and this. So you can kind of go ham on this like whenever you want to. And then 2 copies of Fariza. Fariza is the same where if she's overcharged, she gets 10k power. And then at the end of a battle that she boosts, if she was overcharged, you can retire her to countercharge 1 if you haven't countercharged this turn. So again, we're not like desperate to like countercharge in this deck, but it's nice to have the option too because there's some games where you do, you might burn through like a bit of counterblast really quick. And then last on the grade 1's business is just 4 perfect guards. You gotta play them. They're extremely important to surviving a gust of wind in this format. That is it for the main deck. Really quick, there is an argument to play uh, the Energy Cycler. if you really want to. I personally just am not playing it. I don't feel like I'm missing out by having not having it in there. Um, but if you feel like you're like desperate to get it in there, I would say you could probably drop one of this, maybe drop one of these, and I think that's about it. I don't know if I could cut you. I guess you could try to cut the counter charger down, but I feel like like having it is going to be very important for the upcoming format. But I'd say you can at least fit two copies of them, or if you even want to just cut this and play the ace unit, like that's fine. But I just didn't care for the ace units for the fact that you're it has zero shield power, and I'd rather not have less shield in a deck that already struggles to get shield. And we have the last up is the triggers. We got Drag Veda. It's pretty good. We're playing the 8 crits. Crits are always really good. This deck we're playing draw triggers because we really don't net that much hand advantage, so it's kind of important that we at least draw some cards. Also, like, fronts just don't matter for this deck. Like, you're already hitting like a truck. Like, your opponent's going to be dropping multiple cards to block their attacks, so the effect draws are perfectly fine. And, of course, the 4 heals. I don't have the effect ones in here, but, if you feel like you want or you should be running a specific effect heal, then please run that heal. This is just more for simplicity for myself. And that is it for this deck profile. Again, I think this deck's really cool. This is besides Odium when they first showed it off, like in the like original trailer. I was so excited because he looks like such a cool Kagero unit. Uh, so I hope this deck gets more support. I'm also thinking about upgrading this copy to a secret rare. At least that's like something a goal for the future because I do really like this deck a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. But that's gonna do it for this video. I'm gonna see you guys in a couple of days where I do my Vanguard end of the year, closing of the year tradition that I'm gonna be starting. So thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good one. Peace.